In 1994, two Formula One cars were sent to Ecuador as for an exhibition. I was able to sit in it. You know, as a 4-year-old little guy sitting in one of the Formula One cars, and that was such a impacting moment in my life that maybe that was what got me so passionate about cars. A huge car that for many, you know, people that were born in the early 90s is the McLaren F1. It's considered the greatest supercar, you know, ever built. So I always wanted to see one. So about 2 months before I was getting ready to graduate from UNOH, I came to a week to Florida to help my dad. He was packing up to move back to South America. And, you know, I had the idea to see a McLaren F1. So I started researching, and when I Googled it, I did some research. Revs Institute came up. And it was funny because I walked in Revs, and then usually the McLaren F1, you walk in, it sits in the main reception area. And I asked, you know, that was the first thing I was like, is the McLaren F1? You're like, where is it? I wanted to see it. And the lady's like, actually, it's not here. The owner took it on a tour in Montana, and it's not here. So I was, you know, I felt so bad. But as soon as I walked into the gallery, I looked to my right, and there was what's called it's a 1965 Ferrari 250 LM. There's, you know, they made less than 30 of those, but that's the last Ferrari to win Le Mans overall. And I grew up idolizing that car. I had little Hot Wheels, Meister, you know, different scale models of that specific car. And then I walked into the Porsche gallery, and I mean, every car that I looked, it was just so emotionally intense to be able to see, you know, historic winning Porsches from 1950s, 60s, 70s, you know, Porsche 917, 908. So I went back to UNOH, and then I reached out to them. You know, they were curious. They had never heard about UNOH. And I made you know, like a 20-page PowerPoint presentation about UNOH and projects that I was involved in, what I did, and the machines that I learned how to use. I presented all this to them, and they gave me the opportunity to do an internship. I was able to work with the cars, you know, and you know, see how I got along with all the team from Revs. And our driver was Richard Atwood, which he's the gentleman that had the first win at Le Mans for Porsche in 1971 with Porsche 917. I'm sorry, 1970. And they offered me a full-time position, and I ended up starting in January of 2018 at Revs. And yeah, it's been more than a dream come true. Revs is considered the largest archive of automotive racing history. It's the largest automotive library. They have almost about 700,000 digitized images from, you know, from the beginning of the automobile all throughout the present time, or from Formula One racing, you know, any type of racing, any workshop manual from any car you can think of. We have film, photographs, poster collections, memorabilia. You know, it's a massive. So it's been amazing, to be able to do that and learn from all this historic stuff that I'm surrounded by. We maintain all the cars. Each car gets driven once or twice a year. We remove the car from the gallery. And then a lot of the cars, when they're in the galleries and exhibition, they have the original tires, wheels, certain parts, you know, that you can't risk on driving them. So when we take them out from the gallery, we have to put safety parts on. You know, we have to put modern tires, modern wheels. Sometimes when a car sits for too long, actually it causes many problems. So sometimes, you know, we have to see corrosion on a piece of metal, so we will have to refabricate. You can't go into a parts store and buy the part. We have to fabricate them or re-engineer them. So that's what I'm responsible for. And then we drive the cars. We usually take each car and put 30 to 40 miles on them, and we drive them, you know, on public roads. So I get the opportunity to take some of these cars and drive them around public and exercise them, you know. And as I'm driving, I'm monitoring all the gauges, checking for sounds, seeing how the car feels, how it's responding, you know, whether it's braking, accelerating, turning, feeling the balance of the cars. And if, you know, a lot of these cars are pre-war cars. You know, if it's a full-out race car, we will rent out a racetrack and prepare 5 to 8 cars and drive around a racetrack and you know, get them up to their tempo. Many times get to travel with the cars and you know, represent them at shows, at concourses, at races. Sometimes we get to drive the cars, depending if it's a professional event or just an exhibition race. It's amazing to be able to get to do what I do and drive these cars and you know, and show them around and maintain them and present them to people and show them, that's what it's all about. You know, I'm so thankful with all the instructors that I had from UNOH. If it wasn't for them, you know, I would be probably pretty hard to see myself where I'm at now. I love the instructors will go out, you know, I guess you could say, onto the field and show you how to diagnose something, how to weld something. You know, if it's dirty, he can tell you, you know, what you're doing wrong. Whether it's machining, if you're cutting too slow, cutting too fast, you know, you're cutting too much. it was just, I liked the hands-on aspect and how patient they were. That was awesome. How they, some of them really take the time to make sure you get it right and come back and check on you. Organization was a big thing. That was something that UNOH taught me, is to be organized, whether it's with deadlines, with doing something, getting things done ahead. In each classroom, they'll give you a timeline when each project is due. And if you can do it ahead of time, do it, because it gives you extra time to do more stuff, and practice more. So, UNOH has so many social things going on, to interact with people, learn from other cultures. You get the chance, to be surrounded by many students from other countries. It's so neat how UNOH has, people from everywhere, all over the world.